this corner is so flat for a car like this. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy, and in today's video we are going to be going over a 2020 Alfa Romeo Giulia in the Sport package. So as always, a huge shout and thank you to the Alfa Romeo here in downtown Salt Lake for providing us with the Giulia. Definitely check out their inventory in the link below if you're in the market for an Alfa Romeo. Also a Maserati as well. Let's get into the video. Under the hood of the Giulia, we have a turbocharged 2-liter 4-cylinder that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Now, power outputs are 280 horsepower and then 306 pound-feet of torque, with fuel economy being 23 around town and then 31 on the highway. Now let's go over the front end of the Giulia, and by the way, this is finished in Misano blue, and again, sorry if I mispronounced that, but I love this blue. Again, it just looks so fantastic here in the direct sunlight. But I've got the headlights on so you guys can see what those look like, and again, you've got Alfa's signature upside down triangle right there, and then just how aggressive and clean the whole front end looks. I think that this, especially in the category that it is definitely one of the best, if not the best looking sedan. Now coming around to the side, we've got two 25mm tires and 18-inch rims in the front and in the rear as well, and I love how they've gone for this blacked out rim design. Definitely contrasts nicely with the blue paint, and you've even got red brake calipers, which again contrast very nicely with the blue paint. Nothing too crazy about them. They've just got a really good design. Alfa is really good at designing just their rims in general and just the car, just with how it looks. And here is your full side view of the Giulia. Here is the key fob for the Giulia. You've got the little Alfa Romeo logo at the bottom and on the back, but you have a couple functions. You've got your unlock function at the top, you've got your lock. This releases the trunk, and then we do have the remote start, which you just have to press that twice, and that'll do the remote start, which, see what she sounds like. Pretty quiet actually, which is not bad at all. So just press it again, then I'll shut it back off. Now we do have the little trunk release, so we just have to press that twice, and that'll open up the trunk, and you can see it pops all the way open. Now with the trunk open, let's just take a quick look in here. So as you can see, storage space in here is actually really good for the size of sedan that this is, and you can see that the floor, you can pick this up, and you got a little bit of extra storage space underneath as well. You got a little bucket there on the side, but when you are all done, all you have to do is just drop it down like normal, and you're good to go. Now let's finish things up in the back and just look how crazy the paint looks like in the direct sunlight. That Q4, by the way, is how you can tell that this is a 4-wheel drive versus the 2-wheel drive. You got the dual outlet exhaust, and then we do have a diffuser there at the bottom as well. Parking sensors all across the back. If you want to know if this is a quadrifoglio, by the way, that one right there is, and notice that it's got little quad tips out the back. That's so you can tell, and then also it has the clover on the side, but that's one of the things from the rear. But anyways, let's focus on the Sport here. Now coming into the back of the Giulia, here's the door panel for the rear. So it's all soft touch here at the top, and then you got the leather with the stitching just down below. Now here are the seats in the back of the Giulia. So full leather seats, you've got nice contrasted white stitching all throughout. And well, let's pop in for a second. So got to duck just a little bit, and if you're wondering, I'm about 5'11", and I actually fit back here really comfortably. So leg room, I have the seat where I would sit, and it's really good. Got a little cargo net in the back. Got the cool signature Alfa vents in the back, which I really like. They're just like little spinny vents, and a little USB right there, and actually got an armrest and some cup holders, so it's a practical car in the rear. Coming to the front of the Giulia, we've got keyless entry again, so one touch to lock it and then unlock it. Just have to slip your hand in the back of the door handle. Now here is the door panel in the front. One thing I did forget to mention is you do get this really nice texture right here. It just looks and feels really nice. I really like that. But yeah, there's the door panel in the front. Now here are the seats in the front of the Giulia. Notice you get the Alfa Romeo logo at the top. Very nicely bolstered. They actually feel really nice. There's your adjustments on the seat, and then you've got your memory functions. Panel layout is at the bottom, and again, you've got the Alfa Romeo logo. Light controls right over here, and then there is the steering wheel before we pop in. Now we're gonna start her up, so got the push button on the steering wheel, which again, is just so cool. I love that. Mirrors will power fold out when you start it, and everything will pop on. Here is the steering wheel in the Giulia Sport. So zooming in here, you can see we've got your controls here, phone controls, voice command controls, cruise controls on the other side. You got that stop start button that I love. Nice stitching on the inside of the steering wheel, very smooth all around. And then you got like your turn signal on that side, for example, and then windshield wiper stock on the other side, but there's a full view. Now here is the little center screen. So you've got RPMs on the left side. Over on the right side, you've got the speed. And then there in the center, gives you a little like digital speed readout. You got the temperature. You've got how many miles the car has. And then also tells you what direction you're going. We're going northwest right now. Here is the center infotainment system. So first off, I'm gonna show you guys the backup camera quickly. So notice that those parking sensors, that shows you on that little diagram. And then there's the camera itself. So it's got little trajectory lines that'll turn with the steering wheel. And other than that, it's a good system. I feel like the resolution on it is really solid as well. That's backup camera. Here is the rest of the infotainment system. So you can use a dial to scroll through the different menus, or you can also just use it like a touchscreen. So you can just use either or, whichever you prefer. This is the performance pages. So this will show you different performance information, also your fuel economy, all that kind of stuff. Pretty neat little feature. My favorite though is over on the vehicle information. So if you select the little DNA segment on it, then basically it'll show you like your drive mode setup, how everything is set there. So right now I'm in the normal. I can switch drive modes. You notice it'll do a little animation for me, and then it switches over and it tells me what happens in that particular drive mode. So like the dynamic mode, for example, tells me limiter off, everything, just how it's all set up. I think that's just really cool. I like the infotainment system, and I love the little drive mode select as well. Here are the controls for the climate system. It is a dual zone climate system, and then you do get heated seats and a heated steering wheel as well. Coming down, you've got like your little USB and a 12 volt, and then you can use this as some extra storage. Couple cup holders in this area. Here's your parking brake. Here's the shifter. It's pretty easy to use. So like you press the button on the front right there and pull it down for drive. You push it up for neutral, push the button in and push it up for reverse. And then it does have that manual mode, which you just have to click it over. And when you want to park it, just press that and it'll go right into park. Volume control is right over here. This is the dial to go through the touchscreen. This is that drive mode select. So you just have to twist it to go into the different drive modes. Really easy to use, and I love the trim. Again, just really nice textured trim on the center console area. Here is the center console. You've got a bunch of storage space, and you can kind of just throw stuff down there. But opening up the center console, you can see there's a decent amount of storage space in there. Got a little USB port, and now coming over to the glove box, you just got to pull that tab like that, and the glove box is all lined with felt, tons of storage space in there. And again, they got that really nice textured trim above the glove box. This up here is just like the rubber, but it's really, really squishy. So there's that. Top here, you do have kind of like a gray, like darker gray headliner for the coloration on the headliner, universal garage door openers, and that's all. Here is one more look at the interior before we quickly go over pricing. So here's the window sticker for this Giulia Sport all-wheel drive. There's the base MSRP on it, and then this is all the standard equipment. Feel free to freeze the frame if you want to read each individual piece of equipment. Now, on the optional stuff, this is what I think is pretty interesting. So the Sport package, it's only $1,400 and gives you more premium rims, all that kind of stuff. I think that's pretty cool. It gives you colored brake calipers, and then you basically can choose. So they chose the red ones, which I think looks really good with this blue paint. And yeah, that is pretty much everything. There's your total MSRP. Let's take this Giulia out, see how it drives. Quickly talk about visibility here in the Giulia. Visibility over the hood, it's actually really easy to see out of, and I just love the two little lines there. It's cool, and it just looks good from the inside. There's visibility through the side mirror. There is your other mirror, and then here is all throughout the rear. It's actually really easy to see out of the Giulia, especially for a sedan. That all being said though, let's set off. Setting off here in the Giulia Sport, let's first talk about the road noise and the ride quality. So far, ride quality is on par with everything else in this category for this size of sedan. I would just put it at average. I can definitely tell though that Alfa kind of made this with the intent of it being sportier, because you can tell just from the suspension standpoint, it rides just as smooth, but then there's also like a firmness to it, if that makes sense. But in terms of the road noise that comes through, it's quiet, it's comfortable. I mean, it feels like a luxury car, and it's expected. Again, that's kind of what Alfa's going for, right? Is this sporty luxury car, and that's why I love this brand so much. Is it's definitely one of those like cooler brands that like fully embraces what they're trying to do. But yeah, that's initially what it feels like. I'm in the natural mode, and the steering wheel is like the perfect size, not too big, not too small, and so it has this like sporty feel to it. So it makes the car almost like feel a little bit more direct, just because of the size of the steering wheel. But then again, it's not like so tiny where you feel like you're driving a little basically toy car. So we're about to get up to the interstate, just put it into the dynamic mode, and just like the Stelvio that I drove, it's just like boom, instantly you can tell the character change with the car. As soon as you put it into that dynamic mode, the whole character of the car just changes. I can just feel the difference with the engine, transmission, like the response. Yeah, throttle response is really good as soon as you put it into that mode. Like, it's quick. And I'll put it into the manual mode to see how that kind of, or actually, I want to see how the steering is first before I put it in the manual mode. This one doesn't have those giant paddles, so I have to put my hand down there if I want to manually shift. This corner is so flat for a car like this. It has such like a sporty feel to it. And you've got to remember, this doesn't have super crazy wide tires, yet it has really good grip. It corners really flat. It just has a real sports car feel to it. Definitely, especially compared to like other cars in this same segment, it feels significantly sportier. I can tell you that right now. And we'll get a little highway acceleration, so I'll give it a couple downshifts here. Yeah, it's quick. This car is quick and it's fun. That's the best thing about this car. Is I don't say this a whole lot about cars, but this is one of those like cars that gets me excited. Like, it feels like a driver's car. And the thing I have to keep telling myself is there's another version of this, the Quadrifoglio, that has more power, more aggressive suspension, just everything more. So Alfa, just from, I guess, an engineering standpoint, just on this base model, right? They've done such a good job. And the brakes, wow. The brakes are really good too. Like, this is supposed to be the entry level Alfa Romeo, basically. Or yeah, Alfa Romeo, right? The Stelvio is a little bit more expensive, and even though this isn't like a super base model Giulia, it just has a sport package and it drives incredible. I'm so impressed so far. Well, I am stuck in a massive amount of traffic because, well, there's a lot of construction happening right now. I should have picked a different road, but regardless of that, I guess that I'm going to get into summing things up here on this Giulia. So I like a lot of elements on the interior. Like, I love this granny trim that I showed you guys through the walk around portion. The interior definitely feels a little bit more unique compared to other cars. It just has this excitement about it. And this is in black, right? Think if you got this in red. I know you can get it in tan as well. This is just like the plain black interior, and it still just has like this liveliness about it, if that makes sense, where it feels just nicer, cooler. There's just all these different cool elements, and so it just has this unique feel. The exterior is absolutely stunning. Definitely one of the most beautiful cars still to this day. I mean, this car came out for the 2017 model year, and it still looks way better than a lot of other new cars that are out in the market right now. So if you're looking for, again, a sporty sedan, you can get this with all-wheel drive too, so something that you could drive every single day if you live in a climate here like Utah where it snows all the time, and you just, again, want something that's fun to drive, that's exciting, and just feel that response. It's super responsive. I mean, this is the kind of car that you could drive to work, and then you could just drive it up and down a canyon, have a ton of fun with it, and it's an exciting car. It's one of those cars that just gets me excited. So yeah, definitely I would recommend looking into the Alfa Romeo Giulia. There we have it, everyone. The 2020 Alfa Romeo Giulia in the Sport package. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Alfa Romeo here in downtown Salt Lake for providing us with the Giulia. Definitely check out the inventory in the link below if you're in the market for a new Alfa Romeo or Maserati. I will see all of you in that next video.